Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Jenny says, I'm a single woman and I rent an apartment in a great city. I'm very happy here as it is close to my work, my church, and most of my social activities. I have no desire to own my own home because I'm afraid I have to have maintenance and lawn care people on speed dial. And to buy something even remotely affordable, I would have to move way outside of town. Is it okay to rent forever? I hear you talk about a paid off home being a large piece of people's net worth, but is it still possible to build wealth if you don't own a home? I think the biggest piece in this, Jenny, is looking far in the future. And I always look to when it comes to retirement time, the singular expense that continues to go up that you will not have control over is your house, is your housing. So rent will continue to rise. And if you own your home and you pay it off, then that's an expense that you don't have, and it's continuing to work for you, building equity. So it is a part of your financial, picture that I would want you to have a part of it. It doesn't have to be today. It doesn't have to be in the next 5 years, but eventually I would have home ownership in your financial picture for many reasons. But I think mostly when you look towards times like retirement, you won't have to have that expense that continues to rise, and you actually have an asset for you.
I can completely endorse that where you are today in your life, Jenny, that this particular situation makes sense. It sounds like you got it made right now. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It just doesn't scale long term. So here's the problem. She doesn't say how old she is. Let's just say she's 30, okay? Every single year from 30 to 70, your rent's going to go up. Or your landlord's asleep at the wheel, they will die, and the next person will jack it through the roof to make up the difference. But the value of the rent goes up every single year from age 30 to age 70. Your most expensive line item in your budget is housing. So the most expensive line item in your budget is out of your control, variable, and increasing. That is not scalable. That's not sustainable long term. Again, like Rachel said, if you want to do it for 4 or 5 years, I think you got a good gig. Go ahead and do it for 4 or 5 years. But let's not translate that to, is it okay to rent forever? Well, it's okay, but it's going to kill you. Because what you're paying in rent now is nothing compared to what it'll be 40 years from now. I think we can all agree with that. And so when you buy, if you buy on a fixed rate 15-year, you now have a fixed payment for a property. It doesn't have to have a lawn. It can be a condo. You have a fixed rate. And then when you get paid off, you have a fixed rate, which is zero, other than your taxes and your property insurance, right? Those are two things that will go up as well, but they're a much smaller percentage, and they don't end up being the largest thing in your budget anymore, usually. So,
and I will say this too, Jenny, that it doesn't have to be a single family home. If you are single, you don't need a lot of room. It could be a condo, right? But owning property that you eventually own full out is what the key is. Yeah. That's the goal.
I don't want you to confuse the fact that you've got a really good situation right now, and I endorse you staying there, with a forever plan. It's not a good forever plan. It's a really good short-term plan, though. I would sit there and I wouldn't let your friends shame you into buying something. And that's what's happening. And people are going, you got to buy a house, you got to buy a house. And you don't have to buy a house right now. You not got a bad deal. But you do need to stabilize the most expensive line item in your budget before it gets out of control and starts messing up your life. I mean, can you imagine being 70 years old and broke and your rent goes up every year? That'd be no fun.